Myanmar's ousted leader Aung San Suu Kyi has returned to court. She missed yesterday's appearance due to motion sickness. Ms. Suu Kyi's next hearing is set to resume next week. She is on trial over several charges, including violating COVID-19 protocols and breaching the Official Secrets Act. The lawyers have rejected all of the allegations.
At the same time, hundreds of civil society groups have urged the United Nations not to recognize Myanmar's military government. The body is considering who should represent the crisis-torn country at the UN General Assembly this week. Leong Wai-kit looks at what's at stake for Myanmar as the country faces a new wave of violence.
Fresh fighting has emerged in Myanmar between the military and resistance fighters. It's not immediately clear if armed conflicts have intensified in response to the National Unity Government's call last week. The group of ousted lawmakers said it's launching a people's defensive war in its bid to coordinate various groups who are fighting the military. The flare-up in fighting comes as the UN General Assembly is due to consider a crucial decision that will affect the lives of millions in Myanmar. A committee of 9 countries is set to recommend a candidate to take Myanmar's UN seat. The choice comes down to either a representative from the military or someone from the former Aung San Suu Kyi government.
We need further strongest possible action from the international community to immediately end the military coup.
Shortly after the coup, Chomotun defied the military at the UN. The military immediately sacked him and charged the diplomat with high treason.
Last month, Chomotun revealed he had received death threats in the US. At least 2 Myanmar citizens were later arrested in New York for plotting to assassinate the diplomat. The Myanmar army says it has nothing to do with the planned attack.
Since the coup, the army has been trying to gain support from the international community. Most recently, it accused the opposition of launching attacks in the country to create the impression of a civil war ahead of the UN General Assembly. On various occasions, it planned briefings for diplomats in Myanmar, offering its side of the story. It often stresses that NUG's ousted lawmakers are terrorists for launching attacks against the state and soldiers. About 20 army-backed political parties have also come out to support the military and condemn NUG's Chomotun. So far, the global community has been receptive to the NUG, but the group remains far from its goal of gaining international recognition. The UN's decision will therefore be significant for Myanmar's underground alliance of civilian politicians who would see it as a seal of approval. But in the lead-up to the UN General Assembly, the NUG called for an uprising against the military.
For the NUG to announce this move at this point in time, I think would indicate to me that they would have made the necessary calculations and taken what's on the international relations horizon into consideration.
Sources tell me that whatever decisions made at the UN will have little or no impact on Myanmar's security situation. The Myanmar Army's priority right now is to quell any form of violence in the country. But by calling it war, the NUG is giving the military more ammunition to use it against them. One likely impact this can have is on how ASEAN moves forward with Myanmar. Continued violence in the country will be an obstacle not just for the ASEAN Special Envoy's work to hold talks, but also to the much-needed humanitarian aid to vulnerable communities. Leong Wai-kit, CNA.